Welcome in, folks, to Speedbump. It's a race. You want to take this game in, Author Blues?
Yeah, this is a Galaxy 5000 racing in the 51st century. This is a pretty cool racing game. I played it at I saw it at first at AGDQ during the Cuso Grande tournament, and I was enamored with it. And so then I played it some, and it turns out, yes, indeed, it rules. So now I'm subjecting other people to a very cool game. I've given them some information. I gave them the manual. I gave them controls. I made a few recommendations. I think they'll mostly understand what's going on because the game does explain itself pretty well. So I'm going to get them started, and then I'll tell you a little bit about what we're doing here.
All right, I got the timer ready to go.
All right, so we're going to give them 30 minutes to make as much progress as possible. I told them that the furthest race they reach is how we're going to judge progress. So this is a racing game where you do 4 tracks on each planet, and as you do each race on the planet, the track stays the same, but it becomes more complex. More obstacles will be added, things that make it harder to make progress. And you earn money for each race, which you can then spend on either repairing your current ship or buying a new ship. This is a pretty tricky game, and I expect that we're probably going to see a few game overs. So I don't expect that we're going to see too deep into the game in this race. But it does have some pretty cool mechanics going on. So you are a spaceship. It does have a little bit of... It kind of takes advantage of some of that. So like you can jump over corners and things like that. There's no real rules about what a spaceship's allowed to do. I checked the law. If you're a spaceship, you can kind of do whatever you feel like. You do have guns, but the ammo on them is, I believe, fairly limited. So I think we'll probably see some racers get to Mars. That's my prediction, is that there will probably be some number of racers that make it all the way to Mars. And there's a few additional twists that we'll probably see as we continue here.
What shape spaceship would you choose?
The spaceship shaped one?
I see. You play FTL?
No, I've still never played FTL.
A lot of different spaceships in that one. They're all functionally the same, like you said, except for internally. Some of them really suck. So the cube isn't great. It's not a great design.
This game has some pretty cool spaceship design. So in addition to spending your money, you can see there it tells you how much money you need to buy the next cruiser. If you exit this screen with that much money, it will buy it automatically for you. And this game has a pretty cool mechanic. If you take so much damage in a ship that it is destroyed rather than just losing the race, you instantly respawn with your previous ship. So it sort of scales up. Unfortunately, it is not automatically repaired. So if you did not repair your old ship before moving on to the next one, you will start with a broken ship. And as you go through the game, the opponent racers will also upgrade their ships and things like that.
How's the AI in this?
They do a pretty good job of like taking shortcuts and playing competently. They can also be real bastards when it comes to shooting at you. Their aim is pretty good, and their ammo seems to be considerably less limited. So yeah.
This looks kind of like rock and roll racing or super off-road.
Yeah, I know that Cuso Grande, it doesn't always feature explicitly bad games. Sometimes it's just unique or interesting games. But after playing a little bit of this, after seeing it at Cuso Grande Live, I'm convinced that this game is just overtly good. There's nothing bad going on here. It is a very cool, albeit challenging game. Racers are doing really well controlling this. This game, believe it or not, does not control easily, at least, but it doesn't control poorly, in my opinion. It just takes a little bit of getting used to, and it really feels like our players are getting used to it quite quickly.
Yeah, there's a couple Uso games I've played that I went back and played some more of because yeah, they kind of sucked actually. Not this one, I don't think, but I like bad games enough that I had a good time with them, which means it's not bad.
Right. Exactly. Somebody gets it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
like
there's a lot of games that
bootleg
are
of
just
Hercules.
unpolished, but they're fun to play, so like...
Maybe the bootleg of Hercules is objectively bad. But I went back and beat it. Yeah, got it. Herculode. I like these turrets that look like bells.
Yeah, as the courses change, as it adds more obstacles, sometimes I feel like the courses actually get easier. So, like, it removed a bunch of the spikes and replaced them with turrets, and, like, the turrets can certainly do some damage, but they feel, like, way less frustrating. So, like, did they actually make the course harder, or did they just make it different? I don't know.
Oh man, Okami lost by a hair.
Well, he still has enough money to repair his ship and buy the Crusher, so that's really good. So we got our first ship upgrade. Okami's been doing a good job of not taking too much damage, so we'll see how it goes, but if he were to destroy this vehicle, he would instantly downgrade back to his previous vehicle, so it's somewhat permissive in that way.
Super Off-Road is a truck game through the mud that plays like this, but the AI has two idiots and then one guy who is like the best truck driver. That guy's dad is who, like, he's so crazy. And it's really annoying. They have as much boosting as they want. So you're just fighting against one AI who's rubber banding. Whatever. There's not even a term for rubber banding when they're just ahead of you the whole time. What is that?
Right.
Like super banding. He's just up there.
He's just constantly extending his lead.
These
So
guys seem
we
like
can
they're
see
fair.
now Okami's opponents are starting to upgrade their ships. I imagine it's sort of fixed, just at specific times they upgrade their ships. I don't know if the AI actually like keeps track of points or anything like that, but they will slowly upgrade their ships as well, so.
His big jumps.
Yeah, the game does not mind letting you just skip large parts of levels. If you find shortcuts, the game is not trying to prevent you from doing so. In fact, a lot of the stages are set up in such a way that there are several nice shortcuts if you can pull them off. Starting on the next planet, though, so we're on Venus right now. Starting on the next planet, they're going to remove the the barriers on the walls, so it's going to be a lot easier to fall off, which does deal a lot of damage. Ooh, Subwoofer almost fell off the stage, but just barely hung on to the barrier. Subwoofer's not going for some of the big skips in this level, which I think one of the funny things is that this stage gets a lot easier when you see the lines they're wanting you to go for. Actually trying to take some of these turns can be kind of annoying.
Saw the yellow AI miss the jump, fall into the void.
So this game doesn't have a rule about needing to rank any particular rank, but not placing high enough is going to cut down on the amount of money you earn, which may be detrimental if you're needing to spend money to repair your ship. Also, a little secret for those of you watching, I didn't point this out to the players, though. If they read the manual, they would have seen this information. Those little spike balls that different colored and littered around the stage, those are actually not spikes. Those are pickups. Some of them are worth health, some of them are extra money, some of them might be ammo for their gun. And so despite the look of them seeming like they're the sort of thing you might want to avoid, they're actually good.
You mean those rainbow things?
Not the rainbow spikes, but there's little like spiky balls.
Yeah, I see those. They look like mines.
Yeah. You would definitely think you should avoid them, but they are good.
Rainbow spikes are a pretty delightful way to die.
We got Okami on Earth right now. Earth is one of the first multi-tiered stages. There's a lot of like ledges that you can take either a higher path or a lower path. And this is the first stage where they just take away the walls. So
somebody was asking about how to join these races. It's pretty simple. You just gotta hop on my Discord, which I'd like you to be in anyway for, you know, it's a cool community. Hop on in. But anyway, Speedbump has a channel for discussing Speedbump, which is kind of underutilized these days. But there's another channel for racing, and that's the one you're looking for. Just hop in there every week. We host these, or you can host your own. You're welcome to. It's really
and if you turn on notifications, you'll get pinged whenever the racing room's open.
That's right, you can join or leave the role whenever you want, and we ping that every time we make a racing room, which is consistently every Sunday night we do it, most of the time. Sometimes I do other races, and I haven't seen a lot of people doing it lately, but sometimes other people host them of whatever they feel like. And you don't really have to stream, but for this we would capture your stream if you were.
We like it when our players stream so that we can see how they're doing, but yeah, not required.
And you would just send it to Twitch. Nice and easy.
Ooh, Subwoofer almost missed that jump.
Okami's got this thing down and the other computers aren't able to even try.
Yeah, Okami's also doing a really good job of taking minimal damage, which is great because the easiest way to make this game less painful is not having to spend your entire bank account after every race repairing. Being able to constantly work toward the next ship is just so much better than spending every cent you own to unlock the next ship.
These guys need sponsors. Oh, down the pit. How much damage does that do?
It's substantial, but it's not so much that, like, it's not going to immediately destroy your ship or anything, but in terms of, like, what can damage you, it's probably the most damaging thing to fall off the stage. You can start to see, by the way, in this race that Okami's on, the appearance of these zippers that make you go faster. They're not always facing forward.
Yeah.
Sometimes they're faced sideways and are trying to throw you off the stage. And in later races, that's going to happen a lot more, where there are zippers that are just there to punish you.
Kami's trying to use them a lot because they are quite fast.
Well, this stage in particular has them set up somewhat favorably because the only sideways zipper in this one is meant to push you toward the other path. So if you like had the right lines, it wouldn't be a bad thing to get hit by them. But you have to know what they're trying to do. And in later stages, they start to intentionally use it to hurt you.
Player 1 gets to start in front of a boost.
Player 1 privilege.
Wow, all 4 players take a spill there. Oh my!
There it is. The start of the sideways troll zippers. There's a zipper in the middle that's great for you if you can hit it. Unfortunately, on either side flanking it are zippers that will throw you into the pit.
Even a good jump doesn't save you from that.
No. I played a bunch of cool games in the Kusa Grande tournament, though. It was a lot of fun. I had never played Wizards and Warriors 3.
Oh, yeah.
I had played Wizards and Warriors 1, which I kind of like. It's a janky platformer, but it's cool. I had never played Wizards and Warriors 3. Like, it's a proper adventure game. I was digging it.
That's the only one on that list that I saw that I've seen before. Kami's been downgraded to pizza.
You know, Kami's back to his old ship, which means that he will have to once again pay another 100,000 in order to buy the next ship up, which I think he has. He's been doing a really good job of conserving his money. He probably wanted to put that toward the Phantom, the next ship in line, but unfortunately, time makes bastards of us all.
Your crusher is undamaged.
So now we're on Mars. I kind of expected it to take a little longer to get here. Okami's been playing such a clean game that he got here pretty fast.
I think the Wizard and Warriors games, especially the first one, are what my parents must think of when they try to play games. Like my mom's trying to... I don't understand what the hell's going on. A bunch of things I'm collecting. I get like magic boots of float and stuff, and it doesn't do anything. And I have to pay this guy 300 keys, and I don't know where the hell they are. Looks like you got a cat in a hat. What? You just have a bag full of items? There's dudes flying in all over the place. I couldn't get anywhere in the third one. I think 6 levels, is that what you said? 6.
So this has 9 main planets and 4 tracks on each planet. And then there is a good ending you can get in this game if you clear the 9th planet with enough money to go on to the last level. So it might be 40. I'm not sure if the last area has 4 races as well. I'm not exactly sure how it works.
How far are we going today? 30 minutes?
Yeah, we're just doing 30 minutes. So Okami's on Mars, and my prediction was that Mars would be how far we would get. But Okami's doing pretty well. He's held on to enough money that I don't think he's imminently at risk of gaming over. But we'll see.
That third ship is going to be a burden for anyone to hit, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Must be a really good ship.
The AI the computers start to get access to that ship. I think at the start of the next planet, at the start of Jupiter. This game has some interesting things going on as well that I kind of want to dive into a little bit and see exactly how this game works, because we were watching the Kusa Grande race, and in the Kusa Grande race, they were allowing them to make a save state at the beginning of each world if they wanted to just try to continue from there, since this game does make you start all the way over if you crash your basic ship. And so in that hour, they made it all the way to Jupiter. And Jupiter, being such a large planet, has really high gravity. I'm not sure if that's how this game works, but I was trying to figure out mechanically what was going on because it seemed like Jupiter had really high gravity in this game. And so I think each planet might have like unique stats as well. I can't confirm that for sure, but that's what it seemed as a viewer was going on. So I wonder if smaller planets you can just jump further distances and have to take that into account. Okami got a pretty good chunk of change from that race for being in first place, so building back up his money, obviously he had to spend 100,000 of it just to rebuy the ship he had already purchased, which is unfortunate, but certainly not in a bad enough position that he can't continue to make really good progress. Ooh, Okami getting hit by the sideways zipper. You gotta be really careful with those. I really like the idea of all of the races on a given planet being basically the same track. They just make slight modifications to it. I think that's kind of a neat gimmick, especially in, like we've seen on some of the earlier tracks, like branching paths where in one race, one of the branching paths is made more challenging, and then the next race, the other one's made more challenging, for instance. Having to figure out each time you do it, okay, what did they change this time so that I can, you know, race it properly.
I was checking the Jupiter gravity just to get a reference on what kind of gravity I would have to program in my game if I were doing it. 9.8 meters a second squared on Earth, and it's 24 on Jupiter. Almost 25.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not. I wouldn't say it's like, ooh, so realistic if that's what they did, but like it's a cool idea. Is giving the different planets different stats and trying to tie that into like an intuitive understanding of like planetary gravity. So we got a game over from Subwoofers, we got a game over from Patty Bees. Everyone's doing pretty well. I gave them advice. So there's two control schemes in this game. One control scheme is basically whichever direction you press is the direction you go. If you press right, your vehicle will sort of work its way to point to the right and go in that direction. And, you know, up, left, down, right, all directions. It just tries to angle itself in the correct direction. And then there's a more traditional racing controls, which is the second control scheme, where up is your acceleration, and then left and right sort of turn you relative to your current facing. Something that you'd expect in a modern racing game, for instance. And I had given them the advice for the second controls, beta controls, because that's what works better in my brain. And a whole bunch of players said 5 minutes after the race started saying, yeah, I like the other ones better. So good that they've got options, I guess.
I think we're going to see Mars get cleared. What kind of point spread do you get for first versus third?
I'm pretty sure if you get first, it's something like 15,000 credits plus. Oh no, it's much higher than that because Okami just came in first and it was like 40,000. I wonder if it's different based on which race you're on. Maybe there's something like that going on that I haven't been noticing.
Yeah, with the next car costing 250K, I would hope you get big chunk of change, especially since you have to use it on repairs.
So here's the track I was talking about. Okami's playing on Jupiter right now, and despite the fact that the gaps are fairly small, trying to jump across these gaps, as you saw right there, is really, really dangerous. And I think it's some weird gravity thing going on. Toasty Potato in chat said you need the Phantom to not have weird handling. Maybe the vehicle also makes a pretty pronounced difference, but this level in particular seems to really punish trying to take any shortcuts.
The AI seem to be able to do some of them, but Okami hasn't made a single one of these jumps. I think it's throwing them off because they have been, and they're probably not understanding what the hell's going on.
Yeah, so you can see the next vehicle on Okami's screen. The yellow racer is racing in the Phantom, which looks like a sphere with a cape, I guess.
We got a variety of cars here now.
Yeah, Okami unfortunately got damaged enough to lose his Crusher, and he's back down to the base, the Tomahawk? Is Tomahawk the base one?
Pizza slice.
Yeah, the pizza slice, there you go.
Put a gun on each one of those triangles, you got a nice fighting ship. That's a pretty good spaceship design. I think the Orb's the best, though. Orb can do anything.
The FTL fans have logged on.
The problem with the Orb, I guess, is the space inside is probably weird to work with. You're never gonna find a desk to fit in the Orb room.
So you can see this mechanic on Okami's screen right now. As you start to time out on the race, the track just starts to disappear.
They get their Crusher back for the game over?
So yeah, the continue takes you back to the state that you were in at the beginning.
Can you blow up the enemy ships and make them downgrade?
Yes, you can damage them and they will downgrade the same way you do. I don't know whether or not it persists correctly. Like, if you downgrade a ship, are they going to instantly be back to the stronger ship on the next track? I don't know exactly how that works. But yeah, they do follow the same rules you do, at least.
Awesome.
So in Kusa Grande Live, this was given out by Greg Googlich, and one of the things they mentioned was that, or basically the reason why they gave this game for Kusa Grande wasn't necessarily because it was perceived as bad, but because it's a fairly brutal game. And I think you can see that and would agree, it definitely ramps up quite quickly in challenge.
I do agree. It's hell out here.
No one can live at these speeds. We've only got 2 minutes 30 left. We are deciding the race based on the furthest race that they reached. And so all these people who are back on Mercury right now, after having game overed at some point, they'll still be awarded whatever progress they had made in a previous run. But I think, you know, Okami, having not fully game overed yet, obviously has run away with this race a bit. I think Okami is the only one that made it to Mars. I may be forgetting someone having made it to Mars, but I think Okami is the only one who made it to Mars, and Okami passed it on Jupiter now. I think everyone else I saw got walled by Earth. But I think this game is very cool. I was blown away by it, having only seen it for the first time. I'm always baffled when I find an NES game that I haven't heard of, because of all the consoles, that's probably the one that I have the most familiarity with. So finding an NES game I don't know always feels really fun to me. And to discover that it's actually a really cool game, it became my little mini obsession, learning as much as I could about it.
Yeah, looks pretty tight. There are 55 seconds left. I think Okami's had it.
I think Okami is good with his progress.
I switched audio to Jaspertine just for this last minute. A pizza ship on purple. Is Pluto icy? What are the other physics you might be dealing with?
I'm not sure. I haven't seen the last tracks. Jupiter's the latest track that I saw. I read about some of the other ones. I hope that it has more cool gimmicks like that. So, you know, Jupiter is a gas giant, so it doesn't really show that part off. But maybe maybe Saturn will show some stuff off like that. Maybe Pluto would be an ice planet.
Time is up. Let's get those scores. Subwoofer's locking in 32. So it's so that means World 3 Stage 2.
Yeah.
Jaspertine's 34.
So it looks like Patty B's made it to Venus, Subwoofer, Jaspertine, and Spritz all made it to Earth, and obviously Okami made it to Jupiter.
Okami is a rough contender to go up against in Kuso and in this. Knows all these games pretty well, or picks them up fast if they don't.
Well, that was awesome. That was a lot of fun.
That was cool. I haven't seen that one either. And I like those kind of games. Like, I play Micro Machines all the time. And regrettably, Super Off-Road. It's probably the worst one of those, because it's got a similar system of upgrades, but way less interesting. All you do after you max out your car, which happens very fast, is buy more boosts, more turbo nitros, and you just 90 of them you go in with, and you use them all up. The AI has 1,000 too, and you just keep on spamming them. That's no good. Upgrading your whole car is way more interesting, though it is pretty brutal looking.
Well, great race.
Yep, thanks for joining me off the blues. Nice
Absolutely,
runs.
take it easy.
AGDQ, yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Have a good one.
Later.